Diversity. Biodiversity is defined as the existence of a wide range of different types of organisms in a given place at a given time. The biological diversity include three hierarchical levels. They are genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. Let's know more about them in detail on our next screen. Levels of biodiversity. Genetic diversity. The genetic variation existing within a species is called genetic diversity. The genetic variation may be in alleles, in entire gene, or in chromosomal structure. Species diversity. The two important measures of species diversity are species richness. It is defined as the number of species per unit area. Species evenness. It refers to the relative abundance with which each species is represented in an area. Ecological diversity. The variety of unique biological communities found on the Earth is called ecological diversity. How many species are there on Earth and how many in India? According to International Union for Conservation of Nature, the total number of plant and animal species is more than 1.5 million. Biodiversity is important to human beings for their sustenance, health, well-being, and recreation. For example, humanity derives all of its food, medical and industrial products from the components of biological diversity. Here is a pie graph representing global biodiversity. Biodiversity in India. India is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries of the world. India has only 2.4% of the land area of the world. It has 8.1% of the global species biodiversity. There are about 45,000 species of plants and 90,000 to 1 lakh species of animals need to be discovered and named. Patterns of biodiversity. Latitudinal gradients. Biodiversity is not uniform on the Earth. It varies with change in latitude or altitude. Biodiversity increases when we move from high to low latitude. The temperate region has severe climate with short growing period for plants. On the other hand, tropical region has favorable conditions for the growth throughout the year. The favorable environmental conditions favor speciation and make it possible for a larger number of species to occur and grow. Therefore, tropical regions are rich in biodiversity. For instance, in tropical rainforests, the mean number of vascular species per 0.1 H sample area varies from 118 to 236, whereas it is only in the range of 21 to 28 species in the temperate regions. This type of correlation between diversity and latitude is also found for several taxonomic groups such as ants, butterflies, moths, and birds, etc. Species area relationships. The species diversity decreases from lower to higher altitude on a mountain. The temperature drops about 6.5 degrees Celsius with increase in altitude by 1,000 meters. The drop in temperature and greater seasonal variability at higher altitudes are the two major factors that reduce diversity. The latitudinal and altitudinal gradients of species diversity are two master gradients, although there are some regional and taxa-related exceptions. At the same time, more complex and heterogeneous physical environment favor more complex and diverse flora and fauna in the region. The relationship between species richness and the area in which wide varieties are present on a logarithmic scale is a straight line. Log S is equal to log C plus Z log A, where Z is slope of the line, C is y-intercept. Assessment. The importance of species diversity to the is essential for the health of biosphere and bio-industrial development of a country. Biodiversity is the source of food, medicines, pharmaceutical drugs, fibers, rubber, and timber. Several microorganisms are used in industries to obtain valuable products. Modern agriculture uses biodiversity in three ways: as a source of new crops, as a source material for breeding improved varieties, and as a source of new biodegradable pesticides. The importance of species diversity to the ecosystem. Biodiversity has many medicinal uses. Some of the plant-based substances developed into valuable drugs are: morphine, used as an analgesic, is obtained from Papaver somniferum. Quinine, used for the treatment of malaria, is obtained from Cinchona legeriana. Biodiversity also has great aesthetic value. Ecotourism, birdwatching, wildlife, pet keeping, gardening, etc. are some examples of aesthetic rewards of biodiversity. Loss of biodiversity. Human activities are the major threat to biodiversity. The important factors leading to extinction of species and consequent loss of biodiversity are habitat loss and fragmentation, overexploitation, alien species invasions, and co-extinctions. Habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss is the primary threat to the biodiversity. Natural habitats, which protect natural flora and fauna, are being converted to human settlements, dams, reservoirs, croplands, and grazing grounds. Deforestation deprives animal life of shelter and food. This decreases the population of many species. Deforestation declines reproductive capacity of certain wild animals due to reduced area of their free movement. Migratory animals are also affected by deforestation because of the disturbance in their routes. Habitat fragmentation is an ecological process in which a large piece of habitat is divided into smaller pieces of habitats. Usually, this process is caused by human activities. It leads to decline of many wildlife species because fragmentation tends to decrease population productivity. Overexploitation. Overexploitation of species causes the loss of